I think we've got it backwards.
What?
We're supposed to work from 9 to 5, not from 5 to 9.
Is it 9 already?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when the attorney spends too much of the workday hour in the arms of her insatiable partner.
Too much time? Never.
Well, maybe that was somebody else's car out front.
All right, look, why don't you wait out here, okay? I'm gonna go check to see
You're not afraid to discuss this in front of me, are you, Scott?
No, but if I have to go into detail about Heather and me, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable.
If I was going to feel uncomfortable, I would have stayed at home. We're in this together, right?
Of course we are.
Don't mind us.
Oh, hi. I know I'm supposed to come here tomorrow for our meeting, but we were driving by and I saw your car. Do you have a minute?
It's kind of late, Scott.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Celeste even said that was crazy for wanting to come up here, but I just couldn't wait. I need to know now whether I have any shot at this at all.
At what?
Getting custody of a baby that isn't even born yet.
Who is it?
It's me, Mom. Is the Night Owl Club still open?
Hey, you know me. Never in bed before 2.
Yeah, well, someone's got to keep the late show in business. So, listen, do you think there's an extra ticket on your flight to California tomorrow?
If there isn't, we can find another flight. If you're sure this is what you want.
Well, I'm sure about one thing. I know I want to spend the summer in Santa-Barbara. Who wouldn't? But I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew what to do about Cece.
Greg, look, nobody's asking you to do anything.
Well, I know I'm going to feel a little weird acting like a guest in the man's house when I know I'm a hell of a lot more than that. On the other hand, I'm not sure I'm ready to rush into the man's arms either.
I know, I can understand that.
I guess what I gotta do is just take it easy and get to know the man a little, and then decide. Still, it's scary.
What scares you?
Maybe finding out I don't want him to be my father at all.
You act like you expected this to happen. Who do you know that would do this to your house? Rick? Damn it, man! Who do you know, man?
Help me! She's in the nursery.
What?
Somebody locked it from the inside. I didn't see who. Adriana's in there. I heard.
Hey!
She was just here. Oh my God, she was just here.
Your case would be stronger, of course, if there'd been some sort of binding contract.
Like marriage?
Ideally, but since you and Heather never formalized anything.
Well, we were engaged. Does that count as some kind of intent, at least?
Who broke the engagement?
I think you know I did. But come on, in a divorce, the courts don't award children on the basis of who instigated the breakup.
No, they usually just award custody to the mother automatically. You'd be breaking a very strong precedent, Scott. If you want this baby, you would have to prove that Heather was somehow unfit to be a mother.
No, she's not unfit. She's just being unreasonable. If she would just acknowledge that this is my child as much as it is hers, I wouldn't even be here. But she wants to act as if I don't even exist.
Scott is just having a very difficult time accepting the fact that the child would grow up not even knowing him. I mean, he's just trying to do what's right, and it's as if he's being punished for wanting to take responsibility.
Heather wants to do it all alone, and I just don't understand that.
I can. And I think Celeste can probably understand how Heather feels.
Yes, I can, Julia. But that doesn't mean she's doing what's right for the baby.
Is taking the baby away from its mother the right thing for the baby?
No, of course not. I don't want to take anything away from anybody. I just want to share in the life of my child, but Heather won't even discuss that. The only thing I can do now is file suit and hope that we can reach joint custody as a compromise.
Actually, that might work. Especially if Heather thinks you have an advantage. She might settle out of court if she thought a judge might rule in favor of a couple over a single parent. Of course, that couple would probably have to be married.
Look, please, just tell me that you'll take the case, so maybe I'll be able to sleep tonight.
We shouldn't make snap decisions. We don't want you to waste your time and money, and as Mason pointed out, there are very strong precedents favoring the mother.
Yes, but the rights of fathers have received a lot of attention lately. It wouldn't be the first case of its kind.
Well, I have to try, that's all I know. I can't give up before I even start.
I can respect that.
You don't have to respect it, just take the case.
Okay, you're on.
Good. All right, well, look, I'm ready to put my money where my mouth is. Now, even though you didn't say anything about a retainer.
No, I thought it very loudly, though.
Okay, there you go. Good.
Wow. I can even make out the amount and everything. I thought illegibility was part of the Hippocratic Oath. Aren't you afraid you'll lose your license or something?
You're very quiet, Julia. Is that because you don't think I have a prayer here, or you just don't like taking my side in all this? Which is it?
I just want to know that you've exhausted all the possibilities before coming here.
If you mean have I tried to discuss this with Heather, I'm hoarse from it. The last thing I wanted to do was go to court, but she left me no choice.
We'll do the best that we can for you.
I know you will. Thanks for seeing me. And look, next time I'll try not to show up 12 hours early, okay?
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Okay, truth. Did you mean what you said about doing your best, or would you rather not touch this with a 10-foot pole?
Are you sorry that I told you?
You had to tell me. My God, hiding it from me was killing you.
Yeah, but I didn't have any right to complicate your life just to make things easier for me. Greg, that's why I want this to be on your timetable. I mean it. If and when you decide you want CC to know the truth, then that's when we'll tell him. I promise you, not before.
Isn't there a part of you that just wants to pick up the phone right now and tell him?
Of course there is. There's a part of me that would like to shout it from the rooftops just so I could get it off my chest and be able to start again. But I'm the one who came up with this fiction. And like it or not, I just have got to learn to live with the consequences.
I've been thinking about what it must have been like for you. Pregnant at only 17.
Pregnant by a man I knew for one night. God, one night, Greg, I never wanted you to know that.
You're not the first person it ever happened to.
It wasn't like me. I mean, I was somebody who was always so cautious. I mean, even to a fault. But that night with CC, I just had this feeling that if I let that moment go, I'd regret it for the rest of my life. And I was right, because that moment gave me you.
Do you think I look like him at all? I don't see it.
I do. I think there's a resemblance around the eyes. And your hair's the color your father's used to be. God, how easily I'd say that. Your father. You're right. It is a huge relief that you finally know the truth.
There's another thing I've been thinking about. It's not just Cece. They're brothers and sisters, too. Ted Capel is my half-brother, and I can't even call the guy a friend. He just doesn't even like me.
No, I think maybe he's been a little possessive the past few months. But because the other kids in the family haven't had any time to spend with their father. So Ted, kind of had him all to himself. And then you showed up. And I'm sure that was a big adjustment for him, especially when he saw what a shine CC took to you.
That's hardly going to improve when he finds out this annoying house guest is actually baby brother home at last.
Greg, try not to project what's going to happen. Look, you've got a whole summer to get to know everybody and decide how you feel. We both do.
You've already decided.
No, I haven't. Not really.
You're still in as much love with Cece now as you were 18 years ago.
I don't know if there's a future in it. I mean, it's like you said, we've got a whole family to contend with, not just one man. It may be too late for us to find a place where we'll fit in.
What if we don't fit in? What do we do, just disappear?
That's one of the things we're gonna have to find out.
Well, no, there's no sign of anything outside. I didn't hear a car pull away, did you? Oh, I don't know how they got away so fast then.
Hollis probably just took her and ran. The car could have been blocks away. She was angry, she was confused, she wanted to get back at Rick.
But would she go so far as to just ransack her own house? It looks like someone took Hollis and the baby.
Yeah, of course that's what happened. Hollis wouldn't just run off with Charisse to punish me.
Maybe she found out about me. And the fact that we wanted to come back and reclaim our child.
No, she did not know that you were married to Cruz or why you were here. She knew something, she would have said something to me.
Yeah, what would she have said to you? Would she have told you that she stole a baby to replace the one she lost?
Hollis
maybe?
didn't steal anybody's baby. Stop saying she did.
What is the matter with the both of you? The important thing is the fact that she has my child. We've got to go and find out where she is.
I'm sorry. First thing we'll do is report this.
No! Cruz, no! No police.
Are you out of your mind?
I know what I'm talking about.
And you know a damn sight more than you're telling me. This is something typically dirty, isn't it? What the hell is this?
There are some people who want to see me hurt, all right? And they will not hesitate to kill my wife and my child to do it.
Oh, my God.
That's why we need to leave the cops out of this. We'll find Hollis and my baby, but we have got to do it my way.
Me to handle it alone, I will.
No. said that Scott could count on both of us. I just have mixed feelings about it, that's all.
I thought Heather's situation would strike an old familiar chord with you. Her situation is different from yours.
Yes, I know, but I empathize with Heather, that she feels that Scott doesn't deserve the right to intrude. He chose to opt out of her life, and now he wants in, and she resents it.
Doesn't change the fact that it's Scott's child.
It doesn't feel that way at this stage of the game. That baby is totally contained within Heather. She nourishes it, she supports it, she throws up and loses sleep over it. I mean, Scott's part, his connection is invisible. I know it's somewhere in the coded in the DNA, but it's a concept, Mason, and it's just hard to grab onto.
Is that the way you felt when you were carrying Samantha?
Yes, at first. I was prepared to be my baby's entire universe, and it was intoxicating. And it was the most important thing that I ever attempted.
But eventually you came to realize that two parents are better than one, and you had to let me share in her life.
The fact that I was hopelessly in love with you at the time might make a difference. But yes, I do believe that it's a child's birthright to be loved by both of its parents, if at all possible.
I hate to disillusion you, but I think we're in complete agreement here.
No, not really. I had a lot of time to come to that decision on my own. Heather is being railroaded.
Well, I don't see what choice Scott has. I mean, he has no assurance that Heather will reach the same decision that you did. He's afraid she'll shut down even more if he does nothing.
If he goes through with this lawsuit, of course it's going to make her shut down. Heather has worked very hard not to need Scott anymore. If she's forced to allow him back in her life, she'll be dependent on him all over again.
So what's the answer?
The answer is I'm going to talk to her. Maybe. I'm going to try to get her just to wait a little longer and then talk to Scott some more. Maybe we can forestall the whole thing.
Oh, that's a tough assignment. She's angry now. I mean, she might feel totally betrayed if she finds out you've agreed to represent Scott at all.
Well, I have a better chance at this than anyone else. I need her to know that I understand how she feels.
I don't know. If she comes around, I might have to return Scott's check.
Are you suggesting that you're more interested in your client's fee than in your client's happiness? Because one would think then that you were motivated by greed.
Oh, no, I'm motivated by an even baser motive than greed.
What's that?
Well, it's one of the 7 deadly sins, and it begins with the letter L.
Is it lust?
Could be.
I like this game. I'll take 7 deadly sins for 400, please. I have to go talk to Heather.
I think you should stay here and talk to Heather in the morning. No fair. Didn't even get to play the bonus round.
All right, who is out to get you and why?
It's business, Cruz.
It turned into my business when my baby got involved.
I know how you feel, Cruz, okay? At this moment, I finally know how it is to be desperate to get a kid back. But she's not your child.
I asked you who the hell we're looking for. If we're gonna get Hollis and the baby back, we're gonna have to hear the whole damn story, aren't we? Every rancid piece of it. So why don't you start talking?
Just answer the question. Were you retained by Dr. Clark for the purpose of a custody suit?
We had a preliminary meeting. It was very preliminary.
Well, then I would suggest that Heather doesn't discuss the case with you.
I thought you were district attorney. I didn't know that you had a private practice.
He's just trying to protect my interests until I can get a lawyer of my own, which apparently I'm going to need.
Heather, I'm not here as Scott's attorney. I'm here as a woman who has been pregnant and alone and wanting only the best for her child. Will you just give me a few minutes?
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Ethan, very much, and I'll let you know when I've decided on someone.
All right. But just remember, you don't have to say anything that you're not completely comfortable with.
I left my thumb screws at home.
If you have any other questions, don't hesitate.
Thanks, Ethan.
Well, you look great. I know that's how you feel. I know it can be tricky after a while.
Yeah, I've had my bout of morning sickness, but I think I'm pretty much past the worst part of it now.
You know, when I was in court, I had to excuse myself in the middle of a summation. It was the first time they had to recess so the counsel could run to the bathroom.
Okay, so we both agree that we've both had morning sickness, but I don't really think that's why you came here.
Heather, Mason and I obviously weren't married when Samantha was conceived. We didn't even like each other. We had a contractual agreement, if you can believe that, and I asked Mason to waive all rights after the child was born. So I know what it's like to not want anyone else to interfere with this.
Julia, if you know what it's like, how come you're representing Scott?
Because feelings change. Mine did, and I think that yours might.
But, come on, do you think I'm sulking, Julia? This isn't out of spite. This is a rational decision. Scott and I have no legal ties to each other, so he has no claims on me. Our child wasn't conceived out of a decision. I have my own life, he has his own life right now. My life happens to have my child.
All right, but what happens when the child is old enough to reason and wants to know if he or she has a father, and if so, why that father is nowhere in sight?
I will deal with it when the time comes.
What are you going to say? I mean, Scott's already made it clear that he wants to be a part of the child's life. Are you going to be able to look your son or daughter in the face and say that it was your preference, that they only have one parent?
It's not as if I'm forcibly separating people who had come to know each other. How can he miss something that he never had?
You're a psychiatrist. You know better than that.
Next time you choose to insult me, either professionally or personally, do it in court.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. Heather?
I know all that common ground stuff is just a setup. You came here to force her into a premature settlement. Well, I guess that one sister to another sister approach didn't work, did it?
What's this?
Warm milk. Do you want some?
No, thanks. You never drank warm milk a day in your life.
Well, I just thought it might help me sleep tonight.
Why? Is there something about that meeting that bothered you?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of things that bothered me, just like I'm sure they bothered you. The whole idea of taking Heather to court bothers me. It's not like it's a kick to go around suing people.
Do you see any other way? There's something else. What is it?
Are we just gonna ignore what Mason said?
About getting married?
Well, you would probably have a better chance, don't you think?
No. Here's what I think. I think that marriage is sacred, especially if it's ours. Now, to hurry it along just to facilitate the outcome of a court case seems kind of obscene.
Thank goodness!
I guess you agree, huh?
Oh, I know I'm probably insane. I'm finally with the man that I wanted to marry since I was 18 years old. And I am absolutely thrilled to death that he wants to wait.
When we get married, it's going to be because we both feel it's the perfect time. It's sure as hell not going to have anything to do with convenience.
Let's go to bed.
You're going to forget your milk? It's going to get cold.
Maybe so, but I'm not.
Why don't you tell him? You know a hell of a lot more about my business than they do.
What's he talking about? When he found out I wasn't who I said I was, he thought I was some sort of a spy. Something about the African connection. I don't know what he was talking about, but it didn't sound very legal.
All right, let's start there. What's the African connection?
Mines. Diamond mines.
Smuggling?
Yeah, the stones go from Africa to Monte Carlo, then here. I just pass them on to a sort of distributorship.
Without benefit of customs declarations or taxes.
It's not like dope, Cruz, okay? Nobody was getting hurt.
Looks like somebody wants to hurt you now, huh? Wonder whatever happened to honor among thieves. Hey, and do you look at me when I'm talking to you, man? You look at me.
I started out at an entry level. If I proved myself, there was a little extra at the end of each job. But there never was. My contacts were raking it in me. I was getting spit on. And, that's when I met Paul.
Who's Paul?
He's a friend of mine. He's a craftsman. Specializes in precious stones. He's a genius.
He's a counterfeiter.
His fakes are prettier than the real thing. I never substituted a whole shipment. Just a few at a time. I kept the originals. And, it's been 2 years. They never found out.
Well, I guess somebody found out now, didn't they? Unbelievable. All right, I want a list of every contact you have. Don't answer that. Wait a second. Don't pick that up till she tells you to, Mary.
Hello?
We did inventory, Castillo. You've been a bad boy.
Who is this?
Whitfield has what belongs to you. You bring what belongs to him and we'll talk.
Listen, where's my...
Alexandre, as soon as the sun is up, or there'll be a real tragic accident involving a mother and a little baby.
Wait.
What? What's going on?
Will you get it this time, please? If they're looking for the superintendent, tell him he's an 18.
Oh, damn it, I'd love to, but I left my clothes in the other room.
Hold on. If you're looking for the superintendent, he's an 18, not 8.
I was gonna ask you if Scott was here, but I guess I have my answer, huh? Who in the hell do you think you are, sending your lawyer to ambush me?
What?
Julia didn't even have the decency to call first.
You've already talked to Julia?
Oh, don't play stupid, Celeste. It's pretty embarrassing. Almost as embarrassing as finding you in Percale. What, Scott, do you ever get out of bed, or do you just call in your prescriptions from here?
You're right, Heather. This is embarrassing. So why don't you stop now before you come off even more vicious?
I'm sorry, Scott, but I've been a little ganged up on here.
Nobody is trying to gang up on you, Heather.
No, especially not you, Celeste, huh? A couple weeks ago, you could understand completely how I wanted to raise this child on my own. Then Scott here starts whining about his rights as a father.
I'm fighting for my
and you
rights,
saw your
Heather.
chance, right?
What chance?
Oh, come on, Celeste. Scott gets a wife, gets to simulate the nice little family that the judge wants to see, and you get that ring you've been
You don't know what
coveting
you're
for the
talking
past
about,
10 years.
Heather.
I know what the hell I'm talking
What a
about.
coincidence, Heather. As a matter of fact, Scott and I were just discussing marriage.
No kidding. So, when's a big day?
I'm not sure. But I can tell you this much, it won't be for a long time, and certainly not in the middle of a custody battle.
Oh, that's good.
The child is a separate issue entirely, Heather. When Celeste and I decide to get married, it's going to be about our commitment and nothing else.
Oh, that's so tender, Scott. When you decide to take your next shot, tell your attorney not to contact me directly. I'm going to have an attorney of my own.
And it's gonna be okay. He's gonna get the diamonds, and he's gonna hand them over, and everyone will be safe.
If those animals keep their word.
They don't want Adriana, they just want those diamonds.
Where is she right now? And with people like that, would they even think to feed her? I mean, she might be frightened, she could be hungry, she could be crying. Every moment that she's needed me since she was born. And I've never been there.
Just a little longer. Just a few more hours, and you're going to be with her for the rest of her life.
All right, so where the hell are they?
You didn't. Oh.
You're out of your mind.
You put a gun in the baby's crib?
I was protecting her, Cruz. Just protecting her. I tried to give her the best I could. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Yeah, well, you never were too big on apologizing, were you?
Well, I never heard you say you were sorry either, man. Never, not once.
Sorry for what?
Turning in your own brother.
You gonna shoot me now? I don't think so.
What's going to stop me, Cruz? Brotherly love?
An empty chamber. You may be disturbed enough to put a pistol in a baby's bed, but even you're not sick enough to keep it loaded.
What's it feel like being right all the time, Cruz? I've spent my whole life trying to find that out.
Give me the gun, Rick.
I don't take orders from you anymore.
I hate to play the broken record, But you need me to back you up. You show up tomorrow all by your lonesome. Who's gonna protect Hollis and the baby when your friends decide to get cute? Like we both know they will. You wanna pay back old wounds, you're gonna have to do it some other time. Because right now, the sad truth is, I'm all you've got.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
I kind of thought you'd be home by now.
Well, no one was there. Laura's board meeting's running overtime. Well, what else do you expect when you put 10 or 12 people who can't agree about anything together in the same room? Oh, please sit down.
Thanks.
So, where'd you run off to?
I'm a little embarrassed to tell you.
Yeah, well, I hope you gave him hell.
Yeah, probably for the last time, Ethan. Scott and I cannot talk. I guess from now on, we're going to have to let our lawyers communicate for us.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, I took the liberty to get in touch with one of those fellows I told you about. He's a specialist in family law. He hasn't lost a custody battle yet. And I told him about your situation, said you'd get in touch with him. I hope I'm not being presumptuous.
No, not at all. I really appreciate you taking that first step for me. I'll call him tomorrow, okay?
Okay. I thought it was the least I could do after Julia tried to hustle you that way.
She wasn't trying to hustle me. She was just trying to equate her situation to mine. And they're not even remotely similar. You know, people keep saying that they understand and they know what I'm feeling, but they can't. People can't understand unless they've gone through exactly what I've gone through.
Yeah, well, you know, some of us are sure as hell gonna try.
In your very special way, you can make me...
I wish I could keep you out of it when it gets like this.
It's not just your fight, Scott. I share it with you. Just like when you get joint custody of the baby, I'll share in your happiness as well.
You're damn right you will. My God, Celeste. I've thrown so much at you that you haven't even bargained for.
No, don't say that. You know, I will love having your child with us. Who knows, it may be the only one.
Hey, what are you talking about? Didn't we always talk about having 5?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's just that I think about all the people who have difficulty getting pregnant, that's all. And I just wonder if it'll be that easy for me.
You're not over the hill yet.
No. But there's always problems.
Hey, come on. We've got enough problems. Let's not start inventing them, okay?
I just want to give you everything you want. So much.
Celeste, you already do.
Well, he got him.
Where was he keeping them?
In Adriana's crib. I swear to God, the man is my brother, and I don't know one thing about him. I don't know one thing about the man.
He scares me to death. I wish you didn't have to be there when you make the exchange. I wish you could just do it yourself.
I can't. How can I can't. But I'll be there, and I promise you I won't let anything happen to Adriana.
I know you won't. You know, all these years you've been a cop, and I never have liked it, but tonight I'm really happy because there's nobody else who could handle it.
There's plenty of room upstairs if anybody wants to try to get some sleep.
You think I could sleep? Knowing my child is surrounded by people like you? I swear to you, if anything happens to her because of your selfishness and your recklessness, not to mention your sheer stupidity, I swear to God, I will kill you with my own hands.
Charles was a big man, not just tall. His appetites were big, his hands, his voice. Though he was older, there was nothing safe or conservative about anything he did. Charles made her feel that even at 17, she'd be hard-pressed to keep up with him. She liked that. She'd waited a long time for someone to take her hand and bring her out into the light. She had so much living ahead of her.
you have 2 seats together? Yes. Okay, that'll be fine. The other party's name is Hughes. Greg Hughes. No return ticket. It's a one-way.
Thought I would get a head start just in case.
You knew it wouldn't work out with Heather, didn't you?
Sorry.
She said I was lecturing her. Maybe I was.
Come on. I'll take you home.
No, I'm too frustrated to sleep. Let's just stay here.
Oh. Sorry, didn't know anyone was still here.
No, that's okay. Oh, wait 1 second. Come on in. I got an idea. Why don't we just have a little pre-trial here? We can use an impartial opinion.
You want to try the case here, now?
Sure. You are the plaintiff, I'll take the defense. But you do me a big favor.
I got my hands full, I'm sorry.
We could really use your opinion. You see, we're working on this case, and if you could just pretend that this is the courtroom and listen to our arguments, and then you tell us who you think is right.
Well, sure. Sure, it'll be just like watching what's-his-name, Wapner. I love him, don't you?
Yeah, he's a prince.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, all right. Here's the situation. Oh, that's attached to you, fine. Okay, The situation is this. I have this client who is a young woman. She's a professional woman. She's very, very bright, very capable. You could sit over here in this chair. And she was having a relationship with this...
With my client, who is also very capable, a professional, a doctor, in fact.
Well, they broke up not long ago. And the doctor left my client to go back with his high school girlfriend.
Objection. I don't see that that's relevant to the case.
I mean, how would you feel if you were dumped by some guy's old girlfriend?
I still don't think it's relevant, and Judge Wapner wouldn't either.
Okay, strike that. So anyway, they broke up. Now, a few weeks later, my client finds out that she is, well, shall we say she's in the family way.
Oh, gee, and there she is, all alone, huh?
Well, this is okay with her. I mean, not that she's pregnant. She didn't plan this, but she does decide, however, to have this child on her own, as hard as that may be. Now, the doctor decides that he wants to be involved now.
He wants to help financially with the child. He wants the baby to be able to visit him. He wants to be a father.
If my client lets that happen, she will never really ever be free. I mean, the doctor can have a child with his new girlfriend, his old girlfriend. In any case, why should he insist to come back into my client's life over a child that they never expected anyhow?
May I answer that question?
Certainly, Counselor.
Okay, even though my client has never had a child of his own, he knows what it's like to be a child. He remembers how much he wanted to have 2 parents instead of just one. And he can't stand the idea of a baby that he helped create growing up to be a child who wonders, why aren't I good enough? Why doesn't my father want to be part of my life?
Case dismissed.
It might help if we could just close our eyes even, you know? Hey. I wish there was something I could do to make it easier.
Can you make it be over?
It'll be over soon, darling. Very soon it'll be over.
Tonight, Alf may be on his way back to Melmac when the Tanners take in a displaced neighbor on Alf. Then David gets more than he bargained for when he steals a rival school's mascot on the Hogan Family, followed by a powerful world premiere miniseries, I Know My First Name is Stephen. A child is abducted by a stranger and held captive for 7 years. He escapes and returns home, only to face another ordeal. Based on a true story. Don't miss I Know My First Name is Stephen tonight on NBC.